What's up, family? Today we need to talk about what is going on in relation to the United States, but it is involved with other countries. Yes, I know the story of our life, right? Yes, what is happening right now? Well, in fact, it is happening. Yes, the U.S. is sending more troops for war as 492 people were killed 48 hours ago. I have the details and I want to share it with you today. As you can tell right here, it says that the United States is sending more troops to the Middle East. Now, this is all related to the war between Israel and Hezbollah, in which the latest information is that Israel ended up targeting Hezbollah in a major Lebanon strike. Yes, sending missiles, bombs, everything, destroying the area. In fact, there was some casualties, and we're going to touch on those in just a moment. But anyways, it does say that the Pentagon announced on Monday that it was bolstering its forces in the Middle Eastern areas as the tensions between Israel and Hezbollah continues to increase. This particular move, with an undisclosed number of troops, follows Israel airstrikes in Lebanon on Hezbollah targets, and they ended up killing at least 274 people and wounded more than 1,000 people. Now, this information is according to Lebanon's health ministry, and increasing rockets and missiles continue to be fired on Israel. Yes, this is some huge news, as this is directly affecting the United States because we are potentially going to war again. We are sending our troops to this particular area. Don't necessarily know what the goal is going to be, but we are sending our very own good military down to this particular area. Now, it says that the U.S. is sending more troops to the Middle East as violence continues to rise between Israel and Hezbollah. And as you can see, like I said, 48 hours ago, Israel strikes and kills 492 people in Lebanon's most deadliest day of conflict since 2006. That just gives you some form of reference as to how many people were killed in this particular attack that happened on Monday. But don't stop there, guys, because we have new information that came out less than 24 hours ago, in which they are now saying that Lebanon has lost 558 people that have been killed as Israel continues to bomb Hezbollah, which is now fueling more of a chaotic and an exodus. And also, guys, people are afraid. People are scared. They are trying to get out of this particular area, but they can't because they have started canceling flights. Yes, we are seeing multiple flight cancellations in which people that are trying to flee the area no longer have the opportunity to, and it is getting very scary. But like I said, Israel announced that dozens of new air strikes on Hezbollah in Lebanon. They announced this information on Tuesday, a day after Lebanese officials say that 558 people were killed, including, I know it's sad, guys, but 50 children were also killed in what they're considering one of the deadliest attacks since the devastating war back in 2006. Now, again, Hezbollah said on Tuesday that it had launched volleys of missiles at Israeli military bases hours after 180 of its projectiles and an unmanned aerial vehicle crossed into the Israel airspace, sending people into the city of Haifa running for shelter. Now, again, they put out a statement by the senior military leaders in Hezbollah saying that, look, over the years and during the war, he was responsible for launching missiles towards Israel civilians, according to the military. In addition to that, they said that Qubaisi was a significant source of knowledge in the field of missiles and had close ties to senior military leaders in Hezbollah. But anyways, like you can see, some of the images right here on the screen were the gruesome images of a man's mutilated, his charred body on top of other individuals, as well as on top of a SUV vehicle. Again, this particular image was spreading across social media, and like I said, guys, lots of people have lost their lives. We are just talking about pretty much on day 2. We are entering into day 3, and we don't know necessarily how many more are going to be killed or ended up losing their lives in relation to what is going on in the Middle Eastern area, which is why the United States figured the best opportunity or the best option would be to send the U.S. troops down to this particular area. Why? We don't necessarily know why the Biden administration is doing such a thing, but it only sounds like this could be a potential of us going to war with someone else. But as you said, like I said, not only are we moving our U.S. troops into the Middle Eastern area, we are also moving them into Alaska. I know what you're thinking. You're probably trying to figure out why are we sending troops down or over into Alaska. Well, I'm going to tell you right here, because according to this article, it says that the United States is moving extra troops to Alaska, according to the latest news report. Now, Washington has sent additional forces to the region because of the uptick in Russian and Chinese activity close to this particular area near Alaska. So not necessarily on Alaska's land, but for those that don't know, Russia is pretty close to Alaska, in which they're saying that depending on the season where the ocean pretty much freezes, you can pretty much get directly to Alaska from Russia. So anyways, that is exactly why we're sending troops to this particular area. But it says that the U.S. is reinforcing its military presence in Alaska due to the increased Russian and Chinese activity off the coast. This information was reported last Friday, and the outlet noted that over the past month, the U.S. has redeployed numerous assets, including the destroyer USS. In addition, ground forces are now stationed on one of the state's remote islands, and that fighters and other aircraft have been put on heightened alert. And in addition to that, it says that on September the 15th, the Russian defense minister said that 2 of its Tu-95 strategic bombers flew over the Chukchi Sea in neutral airspace not far from Alaska to practice carrying out airstrikes with air-launched cruise missiles on key facilities of a simulated enemy while being escorted by several fighter jets. I'm thinking those jets were from the United States. But anyways, they're saying that this was not controlled airspace. It was neutral. So Russia doesn't necessarily know why the United States was escorting them away from this particular area. Perhaps because it was too close to home, too close to Alaska. But anyways, because of all of this is transpired, now we are sending some additional troops down to this particular area to show a little bit more force, to show them just in case Russia decides to do something unwarranted. The U.S. troops, the military, can pretty much respond as they need to. They have already escorted some of these bomber jets out of the sky back into the Russian territory. So anyways, guys, we are pretty much sending our troops in multiple locations around the world, and it just gets even scarier. Now, we have talked about this multiple times in this particular political climate that we are in right now in regards to the 2 candidates that are running for the next presidential election. And yes, one particular person is saying that he hasn't had any wars on his time watch, and then the other ones, or the Democrats, are pretty much fluent when it comes to going to war. So there is some obvious controversy right there, and here we are sending more troops into multiple areas of potential conflict, which means that it could turn into potential war. You guys know what I'm talking about, World War III. We have talked about it before. Some of our adversaries, such as Chinese, North Korea, and then Russia especially, and then some of the other smaller places such as Iran. But anyways, yes, the United States has a lot of enemies, which is why the United States would love to stay within the NATO branch. However, the presidential candidate or former President Donald J. Trump says that he wants to remove the United States from NATO. So anyways, that is just something to think about or ponder upon as we move troops into these conflicted areas for potential war. But anyways, in addition to that, the United States deploys soldiers, rocket systems to Alaska Island as Russian military activity ramps up in the region. Like I said, they had some of their bomber jets participating in some practice drills close to the area. The United States didn't necessarily like that, so they they are doing what they need to do in relation to keeping them away from this particular area. We don't necessarily have any response directly from Russia at this time. But anyways, like I said, what would necessarily happen if the United States has to go to war with either Russia or China, or better yet, both of them at the same time? Could the United States withstand battling off both of them? I don't necessarily know, guys. There is some conflicting stories online when you go out there and Google it or research it or use AI to provide some additional information in relation to this. But it does appear that China is pretty much have been ramping up over the last 10 years, trying to surpass the amount of equipment, ammunition, as well as boats, things of that sort, as well as soldiers, to surpass the United States military. And they have been doing pretty good, if you will. And check this article out right here. It says that the United States is actually falling rapidly behind China in preparing for the next war. We already know that there will be a next war, World War III, but we don't necessarily know who the players are going to be. I would only assume that there will be multiple people on one side going against the United States, which means that NATO will actually step in, and then now those multiple countries will be fighting against multiple countries on the NATO side. But anyways, yes, the Pentagon's red tape and its slowness to embrace new technology ends up leaving allies like Britain, Australia, Japan, and South Korea in for a lurch. Yes, we're talking about the United States being pretty much behind on multiple things, such as technology, when it comes to advancement of our military items and military equipment. China has been making strong strides in making sure that they have the best technology available out there. And of course, the United States Defense Department is saying that a lot of their stuff, including their security and procurement procedures, are pretty much outdated. They need to be updated, specifically referring to technology. Well, the administration still maintains lengthy excluded technology list that limits its effectiveness when it comes to the United States, citing specifically, check this out right here, guys, citing communication networks, naval acoustics, and jet engines as being among the advanced technologies that are being held up right now. Put out by a statement by him saying that, look, I believe it undermines Congress's intent. So yes, guys, anyways, take that how you feel. But in addition to that, it also said that these are closest allies that we are talking about, and we need to improve our technology. We have got to do something about it if we want to continue to be the stronghold of America, guys. But anyways, guys, like I said, this is very interesting because this is just more signs that definitely the United States will be going to an all-out war at some point. We don't necessarily know when, but it sounds like it is getting sooner and sooner when it comes to when this World War III is actually going to go down, which is obviously going to cost trillions and trillions of dollars, as if we don't already have trillions of dollars in debt right now. I believe we just crossed over $37 trillion in regards to the United States debt deficit. But anyways, guys, this is going to be huge. Not only that, we already know where a lot of our money has been going for the last 24 months. Yes, a lot of our money has been sent directly to Ukraine, helping Zelensky and his folks fight off Russian forces. Yes, so speaking specifically of Zelensky, he is now coming out and saying that he expects the war in Ukraine with Russia. He says that it is pretty much close to becoming to the end. I don't necessarily know what he's talking about, because the United States is trying to sign another package to send over billions of dollars once again to Ukraine. But as you can see in this particular video, it says that Zelensky is saying that Ukraine's war with Russia is closer to the end, as he appeals for more help. Now, he is saying that the war in Ukraine is almost to the end, but he does need more money. He does need more equipment. He does need more ammunition from the United States, which means that he needs billions of dollars more. Is the United States going to approve of more money, another package to be sent to Ukraine, or are they going to shut the money tree off permanently. Let me know what you think about this down below in the comments, guys. I would love to get your take on this. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button on this video. I appreciate it. Outside of all of that, I hope that you are subscribed to the channel. Definitely want to be a part of the Budget Bill family. Outside of all that, I hope to see you on the next video.